Sasha sits across from me as the superintendent of Central A&M Schools. Good morning to you, Sasha. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. Thank you.
And it's very nice to have you in studio here today to put a face to the voice and everything in between. So very excited to have you in here today. And we were talking a little bit about the summer months, and
yes,
I was hoping maybe it was cooling down for you and slowing down for you. That is not the case. And I would love to jump back into some projects and some summer work that you guys are doing. How are those going? Updates from those?
Sure. So last month at our board meeting, we actually just a couple weeks ago, we held a special board meeting to hire a new principal, which we can talk about in a little bit, but also to approve the door project at the Moweaqua campus to move forward with O'Shea Builders. So our architect has been working alongside of me. I'm not an architect, nor do I have the expertise of these giant projects, it's helpful to have someone who understands all of that. We are looking at a projected start date, probably late summer, early fall, which means our door project will probably lead us up to Thanksgiving. Just by the time that we have everything ordered and the project's, in full swing. So
I think too, basketball season will be getting kind of, so then you get to kind of show it off, unveil it a little bit.
A little, yeah. We're excited. I think the idea is that we will do one entry or exit at a time, right? To keep the building secure, and then, maybe close down a hallway if we need to work on a door. But we're really excited to see the end product, have a more secure building, a safer place to house all of our Moweaqua campus students, Gregory and the high school, as well as very proud of maybe some of the vinyls that will be on the outside showing our Raider Nation spirit. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that'll be exciting for me come football and basketball season to slowly start to see those come to life a little bit for you guys. When it comes to the work that's, needing to be done on that front entrance, was part of it to make it more secure, to make it more tell me a little bit about other work that's being done.
So our doors, most of them are from the 1970s update and addition. So while our building was 100% secure, some of our doors are just starting to maybe not close as efficiently, or the frames underneath the doors are kind of falling away, like the concrete has weathered away from the 70s. So just different things like that, just to make it more firm up the security, I guess. As far as security in and out, it's still going to operate the way it always has. We'll just have new doors and a fresh face for sure.
New doors and a fresh face. And I couldn't remember if in part it was kind of like a intake area almost. I couldn't remember for sure.
Yeah, but we do kind of have a foyer in both the Gregory entrance and the high school entrance. So we do have a double set, which you have to be, buzzed in and pass through the office. So yeah.
I think for you guys, in terms of kind of a facelift on it, has there been any other considerations of projects when it comes to either building site or anything like that? Or are we kind of just like, hey, let's get this done and then we'll focus on something
one project at a time?
Sounds good to me.
We also have some roofing happening at the Moweaqua campus. We work with a company to they repair and reseal sections of our roof at both Moweaqua and Assumption campus. So they've kind of got us on a schedule, so we don't have large projects come out of the budget all at one time.
Sounds probably like a good thing. Then let's chunk it up a little bit.
Right.
Next 5 years, get a little bit done. Probably a good way to do it. And if you want, we can transition and talk a little bit about those principles that you mentioned earlier, because I know two principals are now coming about for the school district. And what can you tell us on that front?
Sure. So first, Mr. Brown has retired, as you all know. He's ending his career with us in just a few days. And Mr. Larry Daly, who comes from Taylorville, is actually going to be joining our high school team. We're excited to have him. He's been in a lot since we hired him late winter, early spring. I believe he has a really good handle on what we do well, and he's bringing some opportunity, to the high school and just a fresh face and some new ideas. Gregory Intermediate, also at the Moweaqua campus, will have a new principal, Mr. Brian Pakovich, Moweaqua native, but has spent his whole educational career in Meridian School District. So he's coming back to he's leaving teaching and coming to the admin side, and he's coming back to be the principal at Gregory.
Exciting, I think, for both. And
Yeah.
and as much as I like Charlie,
Yes.
Charlie's done me right, and I appreciate that guy. It is always nice to get those new ideas
Sure.
and things of that nature as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for him to be also able to retire. And
he's not going anywhere. He says he will be available if need be, as will Mrs. Heiler, who is leaving Gregory. So we're excited that we have some new opportunity, but we also know that we have some historical people that we can turn to if we need.
It's nice to have that backing.
Yeah.
It's not throw you to the fire,
right.
Feet
right.
to the flame type of thing. And,
right.
and especially in Larry's case, having hired him during the winter months, he's got kind of that transition period.
And he's had the opportunity to sit in on interviews with incoming staff and maybe just get to know the staff we currently have. But I think having him a part of the interview process as we were hiring new people was kind of important. While I appreciate Mr. Brown's expertise and his ability to know who's going to fit the building, it was nice for Larry to join and have an idea of kind of what he's looking for too. So yeah, I think it was a great season of transitioning for those two.
And also, if you're bringing on new folks, then it's not that you want your hand-picked people necessarily, but that you want to have an idea or an interest in them. And so then you have given that opportunity for that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It seemed like that transition was very good. And
it went really well.
I'm glad to hear that it did. So let's talk a little bit about hiring of new teachers, because there are always a need for teachers, and Illinois is, I believe, notorious for being in need of teachers and other things like that. That's the case right now for you guys. There are some empty holes. What are some of those? So
we've hired several new staff over the course of the second semester into the summer. We are adding another section of fourth grade because our enrollment's up, and we had a fourth grade teacher who was retiring. So we actually hired two new fourth grade teachers. We are still currently looking for a high school guidance counselor, as well as high school PE and driver's ed. We're always looking for paraprofessionals, aides for the classrooms, aides for one-on-one students. We're always looking for new and additional bus drivers. We can never have enough bus drivers, especially during the spring semester when all of the sports leave early and we have to have our route drivers. So we're always looking to hire. If anyone's ever interested in anything, they can reach out to my office and we'll set them up with an application or an idea, at least, of what we're looking for.
Sure. And right now, a high school PE teacher, driver's ed instructor, a high school counselor, and then potentially one more fourth grade teacher.
Nope, we've secured that. Yeah,
good to go.
We're good. I think we have all of our classroom teachers we need, which is nice.
That is very nice.
Yeah.
When we were talking about it before, I was like, oh, okay. And then so that is great to hear.
Yeah.
Fourth grade wise, you mentioned there a boost in the numbers a little.
So our enrollment has been steadily climbing the last 5 years, and fourth grade only had 2 sections last year, but the number of third graders is asking for a third section. So and then obviously that cohort will go to 5th grade next year, and so we'll probably end up adding a third 5th grade section next year. As it stands right now, 5th grade is our only elementary grade that only has 2 sections. Everything under 5th grade has 3 because our numbers are high enough, which is a great problem to have, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So our numbers are high enough. It's warranting a third section.
So we're kind of potentially thinking this person or one of these individuals might almost follow this class for a little bit.
They could potentially. Yeah. As long as there's still a need at the cohort behind, then we would just add the position. Yeah.
It's interesting that 3rd grade to 4th grade, like it's weird how that kind of fluctuates, and flows a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but it's very nice to hear that you had an enrollment bump as well. And I know that kind of with your kindergarten days as well that you had, and we were really hoping, hey, let's get as many folks, many future Raiders through the door as possible.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to see another enrollment bump elsewhere too.
Yeah.
So joining us by phone. Joining us in studio today is Sasha Young, and Sasha is the superintendent of Central A&M Schools And we're going to come right back around with her, talk more about curriculum changes, starting a brand new year, and what the summer looks like for Central A&M School District. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.com.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Lower across the board with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. July corn down 7 3/4, 421. September corn down 5 1/4, 420 1/4. December corn 436 down 5 1/4. July beans down 4 1/2, 1063 1/2. August beans down 6, 1065 1/2. November beans 1054 1/4 down 6 1/2. July wheat down 13 3/4, 554. September wheat down 13, 570 1/2. July bean meal 282.40 down to $1.70. July bean oil 53.99 down 48 cents. Livestock trade August feeders down 40 cents, 302.05. June live cattle down 67 cents, 222.35. July lean hogs up a dime, 112.77. Energy market August crude oil 73.02 down 81 cents. I'm Jim Taylor.
Kate Hames here from PS Printing in Taylorville with some exciting news. Our printing business has moved to new, larger digs in the former milling millwork building at 405 West Main Cross. You'll still get personal service you've come to know from PS Printing since 1978, but in a larger space. We look forward to providing our complete printing services at our new location. Come check out our new location at 405 West Main Cross at the former Milling Millwork building. Online at psprinting.com.
Radio gets results.
Miller Media Group Advertising works for Taylorville Estates. Here's Administrator Tony Clark.
In the past year, we have doubled our census. So that's been impacted mainly by the radio advertising. That is where we do the majority of our advertising, and our census definitely shows that it works. They lead us in the right direction for the season changing, and they anticipate our upcoming needs before we even have to tell them what they are. We've had consistent growth over the past 12 months. Like I said, we doubled in our census, and that's been the first time in 43 months since prior to COVID that we've gotten to where now we have a waiting list for people to come. So advertising on the radio really does have an impact.
This is Megan Lopez with Nesty's Burger Joint on the south side of the Taylorville Square. To see our menu, click on our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Shawlis Nagel, Executive Director at Kimmer Village in Assumption. To learn more about our services, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station. We're brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment is Sasha Young. Sasha is a superintendent of Central A&M Schools and the district itself. Although I don't know if that needed to be thrown out there as well. But anyway,
It's okay.
We promised you we would come back around and we talk a little bit about starting in this newest fiscal year and the newest school year. How much work is required to actually transition from year to year?
So we spend most of June amending the budget from last year, right, to end our fiscal year and get it as specific as possible to be approved by the board tonight, actually. And then that's due to, the clerks in the counties and stuff, the official amended budget. Once we get that off of our table, my business manager and I, as soon as next week, we'll start planning for the next fiscal year's budget. And what we do is we use all of the numbers that come to us from grant allocations, property taxes, any kind of orphanage claim that we work through Kimmer Village with, and all of the different revenues that come into our district. And we will plan a budget for the next fiscal year, considering projects and curriculum and all the things that we need to pay for over the next school year, with the idea that if anything goes sideways, or if we have like a huge project, like a walk-in freezer goes down or something that costs us a lot more than we're kind of expecting, we can amend it then again next June to make it match what we actually spent. So we go into the budget planning for the things that we are expecting, understanding that sometimes things happen and unexpected happens, like storms and electrical outages and tornadic like winds that throw your track mats around and things like that.
Yeah, and there can
happen
be
every year. Yeah.
And so right now it's basically, here's what we were originally thinking.
Yep.
Here's what actually happened.
Yep.
And then that needs to be signed off by the city clerk, you said?
It goes to the county
Clerk.
and then we submit it to our ROE.
Okay.
And then ISB gets a copy of it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So everyone sees exactly what we brought in and exactly what we spent.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. See, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because when I see budgets and different things come about, it's like, seems like a lot of money, but I don't know how to break it down.
Yeah.
And I obviously knew that taxes and other things are super important, of course, to figure out your budget, but I didn't realize how much of that planning has to be done prior to the budget being established.
It's nice to have an idea of, like I said, projects, curriculum needs. For example, we are looking at getting a different reading curriculum for the elementary. Our current curriculum that we have, we did like a 3-year contract and it's expiring. So we're looking to see if there's an opportunity for us to go more structured literacy, which is what the state of Illinois is wanting us to do with another curriculum moving forward. So those types of things are always kind of on our radar as well. Yeah.
I'm going to sound stupid,
but you're not.
Curriculum changes. I know they're not, maybe 3 years, 5 years is probably a pretty regular time frame for them. How do I change a curriculum actually? Do I go to like a McGraw-Hill and say, this is what I want roughly?
Okay, that's a good question. Kind of so we currently have vendors that we use and that we're using because they fit our need as well as they go along with the standards we're required to teach. So if we see that the current content that we have in our vendor or McGraw-Hill or Houghton Mifflin or whatever vendor we're using isn't really matching our need or isn't really covering the standards at the level we want that to do, then we can look at other vendors that are out there and what they provide in their textbooks and in their boxed curriculum, essentially. Ideally, any curriculum we purchase would go along with the Common Core standards that we teach in the state of Illinois. But there's a little bit of flexibility in which vendor you go with based on the need of the local student population.
When it comes to the vendors themselves, and we're running out of time for me to start getting into these things, but when it comes to the vendors themselves, does the ISBE kind of say, here's 5 of them that you can pick and choose from, or is there more options?
There's really only a handful. So we use a local team of teachers from our school district to look at the options and really get down to the nitty-gritty of what we're looking for. Ideally, we always go with a reputable company, a company that's research-based and that has decades of experience putting out good curriculum.
It's a lot more in-depth. I learn all the time that there's just so much more things that go into what you experience as a kid. You just go into the classroom and you walk in and you're happy.
You have a whole new appreciation, right?
I do. And thank you for breaking that down for me a little bit when it comes to changing your curriculum and some of that you're thinking for the elementary level with reading coming up here. Well, joining us in studio is Sasha Young, Superintendent of Central A&M Schools. Sasha, thank you for coming in and seeing us here today. And we'll get you back to your regular scheduled programming. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.